Welcome students. In this class we are going to discuss regarding the rectilinear propagation of light. In the last class we had discussed regarding the Fresnel's assumptions. So by using Fresnel's assumptions now we are going to prove that light is having the rectilinear propagation. So for that you consider the plane wavefront. Look at the diagram here. So here ABCD is the plane wavefront. So what is wavefront means? It is the plane that we have considered in a direction perpendicular to the propagation of light. Let us suppose this is the direction of propagation of light. If you consider the plane perpendicular to the propagation of light, then that is called as wavefront. If the light is coming from the source which is at infinite distance, so for example light coming from the sun, that we are going to consider as what parallel rays. And if you consider the wavefront, so for that parallel rays, then that is called as plane wavefront. So here this is in the diagram, ABCD is the plane wavefront that we have considered in a direction perpendicular to the propagation of light. So here point P that represents where the intensity of the light is to be calculated because of this wavefront. So to find the resultant intensity at point P because of this plane wavefront ABCD, so here plane wavefront ABCD is divided into large number of zones. Those are called as Fresnel's zones. This is the first assumption. A wavefront can be divided into number of zones, and that too only in the forward direction. So here this M1, M2, M3 in the diagram. So these represents the Fresnel's zones, and how these zones are constructed means, if you look at the diagram here, so here to here this distance represents, this is wavelength, that is one wave, the distance between two consecutive wave. This is one crest and one trough, this represents a wavelength, this is lambda. And here the time taken to complete this much distance, that is one wavelength, that we call as capital T, time period will be there. So if you construct zones whose time period is exactly T half, that is T by 2, means at every alternate crest and trough if you draw the zones, then the time period of those zones will be T by 2, half period zones, and those zones we call as half period zones. So here M1, M2, M3, all these are the Fresnel's zones whose time period is equal to T by 2, means every alternate crest and trough there if you construct the zone, then those are called as Fresnel's half period zones. From the center of this zone, from the point O, let us suppose the point P is at a distance B, then the first half period zone, that is OM1, this becomes OM1 becomes radius of the first half period zone. OM1 will be equal to R1, that is radius of first half period zone, and then OM2 that becomes the radius of the second half period zone, OM3 radius of the third half period zone, and this continues. Now the distance M1P from the diagram, it becomes B plus lambda by 2, because these zones we have constructed by keeping the path difference lambda by 2, or else time period is equal to T by 2. Time period T by 2 means the wavelength, that is path difference lambda by 2 will be there. So from the center O to P, if it is B, then the distance M1P becomes equal to B plus lambda by 2. Next to the second M2P distance, that becomes equal to B plus 2 lambda by 2, means that is B plus lambda only. Next M3P, that becomes equal to B plus 3 lambda by 2, and this continues. So between one zone to next zone there will be the path difference of lambda by 2, and that is maintained in the diagram. So in this diagram, O is the pole of the wavefront XY with reference to the external point P, and OP is, this OP distance is perpendicular to this XY, and these M1, M2, M3, these represents the wavefronts that are drawn in the plane wavefront ABCD. OM1 is the radius of the first zone, OM2 is the radius of the second zone, and so on. P is the point at which the resultant intensity has to be calculated. So now from the figure what I can write is the distance OP is equal to B that we have considered, and this OM1 becomes equal to radius of first half period zone, OM2 that becomes equal to radius of the second half period zone, and this continues. And now the distance M1P that becomes equal to B plus lambda by 2, and the distance M2P that becomes equal to B plus 2 lambda by 2, that is B plus lambda only, and this M3P becomes equal to B plus 3 lambda divided by 2, etc. So now if you want to calculate the area of a first half period zone, that is, this is the first half period zone. So if you want to find out the area of this first half period zone, means these are the concentric circles drawn. So here you can apply the formula of area of the circle. So that becomes equal to pi r square. So we are dealing with the first half period zone, that is it becomes equal to pi r1 square. From the diagram, the area of first half period zone is pi into OM1 square. So this is equal to pi into OM1 can be written as, the distance OM1 can be written as, by applying the Pythagoras theorem, you can write this as M1 P square minus OP square. OM1 square can be written as M1 P square minus this OP square. Then substitute all the values. What you are going to get is pi into M1 P, that is nothing but B plus lambda by 2, and the square of this is B plus lambda by 2 whole square, minus the distance OP is this B square. Then if you simplify this, so what you are going to get is pi into, this is a plus b whole square formula, b square, and this minus b square, that term becomes equal to 0, and the remaining terms only you are going to left with. So this is equal to b lambda plus lambda square divided by 4. So in this bracket, lambda is, wavelength of light is very small, of the orders of nanometers, and the square of this and divided by 4, this is very small quantity. So this lambda square divided by 4 term we are going to neglect from that bracket, and you are left with only this pi b lambda. So area of a first half period zone is equal to this pi b lambda. Now the radius of first half period zone, if you want to calculate, means, so radius of first half period zone is r1, and that is equal to OM1. So the distance OM1 becomes equal to, from the diagram, the distance OM1, so this can be written as square root of this b lambda. Since OM1 square is equal to this M1P square minus OP square, if you substitute the values, and if you get, means what you are going to give is b lambda plus lambda square divided by 4, and this lambda square by 4, this we are going to neglect, and you are left with only this b lambda, which is equal to OM1 square, and this OM1 can be written as OM1 is equal to square root of this b lambda, so which is nothing but the radius of first half period zone. So now the radius of the second half period zone, similarly in the same manner we are going to calculate. So this radius of second half period zone is r2 is equal to this, the distance OM2. So from the figure, this OM2 can be written as M2P square, OM2 is equal to M2P square minus this OP2 square raised to 1 by 2. Substitute the values of this M2P and OP. What you are going to get is M2P is nothing but B plus lambda whole square minus the distance OP is B square and the root of this. So if you simplify this, So b square and this minus b square becomes equal to 0, and the lambda square term that we are going to neglect, and we are left with only this 2b lambda. So this is equal to square root of 2b lambda, which is nothing but the radius of the second half period zone. In the similar manner, so if you continue, so radius of third half period zone becomes equal to r4 becomes equal to square root of 3b lambda, and this continues. So for the nth half period zone, what we are going to write is nth half period zone radius becomes equal to square root of this nb lambda. So now this is regarding the radius of different half period zones. Then area of first half period zone already I have calculated. In the similar manner, if you calculate the area of second half period zone, area of the second half period zone from the figure. So here the area of the second half period zone will be this. This region becomes equal to area of the second half period zone. So here this OM2 square minus this OM1 square, if you do, and if you multiply that with the pi, then we are going to get this area, that is area between this first line and the second line, which becomes equal to area of the second half period zone. In the same manner, if you want to calculate the area of the third half period zone, and this area is there, this represents the area of the third half period zone. Don't consider from the center. So here area between two consecutive lines, that represents area of that particular half period zone. So now you calculate the area of second half period zone, so that I can write as pi of this OM2 square, distance OM2 square minus OM1 square. If you do, then that gives the area of this second half period zone, this area, square of this minus square of this, that gives, if you multiply that with pi, then we are going to get the area of the second half period zone. So already the values of this OM2 and OM1, which are nothing but the radius of the first half period zone and second half period zone, already that has been calculated. Substitute those values here directly. So we are going to get this pi into OM2 square is nothing but 2b lambda, that is square of the radius of second half period zone, and OM1 square is nothing but the square of the radius of the first half period zone, and that value is b lambda. So 2b lambda minus b lambda, that I can write as this pi into b lambda. So area of the first half period zone is also pi b lambda, and area of the second half period zone, that is also equal to pi b lambda. So from this, what we can conclude is area of all the half period zones that remains constant, and the radius of the half period zones, so that is going to vary as square root of the natural number, where b and lambda are constant. B is the distance of the point from the point under consideration from the center point O, and lambda is the wavelength of light used. So here what we can conclude is area of each half period zone is equal to pi b lambda, which is constant for all the half period zones, and the radius of first, second and third half period zones are square root of 1b lambda, root of 2b lambda, root 3b lambda, and this continues. Here the area of each zone is constant, and it depends on lambda, that is wavelength of light used, and the distance b, that is the distance between the point under consideration from the wavefront. So area of the zone increases with increase in the wavelength of light, and it increases with the distance, increase in the distance of the point P from the wavefront. So here completes half of this proof, and the remaining part will continue in the next class. So take the assignment question, students. Write the Fresnel's assumptions. So you write all the three assumptions, and for different values of theta, so how the intensity is going to vary, give the evidence for that also. Thank you.